So we're going to leave the seam of the pant here, the fold line there.
You could say Karen Briggs was born to sew.
I grew up sewing. I grew up sewing everything I wore. I even made my own wedding dress. This is a 6-month head form.
So when it came to starting her own business, it was easy for Karen to find inspiration.
I wanted to find something that would remind us of my childhood.
Karen is the owner of Green Pomegranate in Virginia Highland. She sells children's clothes pieced together from second-hand material.
This came from vintage sheeting.
So along with their purchase, customers take away a little story about where each item came from.
And the fabric in the body of the...
remember that?
Because I do all the fabric selection.
Karen got her start in her laundry room, sewing together a few baby outfits for friends from used table linens.
When I looked down at this beautiful napkin and I said, oh my gosh, it's so pretty, all this hand-worked embellishment, and it's lovely, and what a shame to put it back in the bottom drawer again.
Thank you. Have fun.
Soon she found she was barely able to keep up with demand.
I realized that people were buying my product and people were asking me to make clothes. There was an interest in homemade product.
Still, Karen never intended to open a store, and when she threw fate to the wind more than a year ago, her timing couldn't have been worse.
What in the world were you thinking by opening a shop in the middle of what has been compared to the Great Depression?
The Great Depression, in a way, prompted a lot of what I was doing and the interest in what I was making. People wanted something homemade.
But would enough of them come in to buy?
Were you scared?
Oh, please, terrified, terrified.
According to the Small Business Administration, 50% of small businesses fail within the first 5 years, thanks in large part to things like tighter lending standards, higher energy prices, and consumer spending.
And when most agree small business is the backbone of the U.S. economy and a huge part of emerging from a recession, many small business owners, like Karen, hope banks will make capital more readily available.
I am reinvesting every dollar that we make back into the business to keep it going and growing. And that's the only way that I'm able to do it right now, because there is no capital to invest in small business.
So far, Green Pomegranate seems to be surviving. Perhaps it's the unique niche for what's old is new again children's clothing. But according to Karen, there's nothing unique about starting your own business.
Well, it's a lot harder than you think. It's number one. Number two, it's a lot harder than you think. Number three, it's a lot harder than you think.
So that's interesting about the depression you were talking about.